Hey everyone, Davron here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces is a 2017 Sonic game that was released after the series went on a bit of a hiatus. Sonic Forces was cited as a big return to form after the boost formula had been abandoned for the Sonic Boom spin-off series, which collectively tanked and did not do that well after the failure of the game Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. While the show was actually quite good, everything failed and Sonic Boom was abandoned. So, we moved on. After 2 or so years of hiatus where the only game we had was Sonic Boom Fire and Ice and Sonic Runners, Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania were announced, and they were met to really good reception among the public. Sonic Forces was, a lot of people saw it as a sequel to Sonic Generations because Classic Sonic was there, and everyone was getting really excited because it looked like a dark tone for Sonic we hadn't seen before in quite some time. And Sonic Mania obviously had everyone excited because it was finally a classic 2D sprite-based return to form after the failure of Sonic 4. So, Sonic Forces had everyone excited, and as the gameplay showed, well, things started going a bit worse. People noted how the level design seemed a bit simplistic, but they tried to assure themselves that it was only the first level, it's not really that bad. As the game led up to release, more trailers shown, people were getting really excited, and the game released to okay reviews, like 7 out of 10, 6.9 out of 10. The game was okay, and the fans received it about the same, but a lot of people were disappointed that it wasn't the big return to form it promised. Just simplistic, short, a lot of 2D game, and just a lot of people didn't really want this. A lot of people wanted something more ambitious. And so, as a result, and even with Mania being amazing, and Forces just being okay-ish, a lot of people saw Forces as a massive disappointment, and then proceeded to label it as much worse than it actually was. So, I replayed Sonic Forces to look at the game in, well, a new light, and this is what I thought. Starting with the story. Sonic Forces' story is, without a doubt, slightly better than what Colors and Generations did. While Colors and Generations had a story, it wasn't that prominent or good, and a lot of the jokes missed the mark. It's just not great. Sonic Colors was more so cringy, and Generations' story just didn't exist. Sonic Forces actually had a bigger emphasis on story, but it was ruined by the fact that they couldn't really pick a direction to go on. They wanted comedic or dark. They had lines like Sonic's been tortured, but then they show him next and he's just absolutely fine. The whole war thing could have been well done, but they didn't show the world being taken over by Eggman. It's just by graphic, like a map of 99.9% of the world Eggman, 0.01 Team Sonic. That's not an effective way of showing. There was that one cutscene where Infinite is just destroying the town and then he meets the rookie, but that's not enough. You need to show us more world building and more of the world getting destroyed by Eggman. The actual stages do a decent job of showing that off, like especially in the city stages, the one that was shown first. There's a lot of stuff there that you can see, the Death Egg robots behind him, the fire and flaming everything. That does look pretty good, and especially helped by the Hedgehog Engine 2, which here looks pretty good, although the art style isn't anything to write home about. The game still looks really good and is optimized well on all the platforms. All in all, Sonic Forces' story just jumps around and misses the mark in a lot of areas. And on top of that, they just say, Sonic is alive, after the previous cutscene saying Sonic is dead. Not a great story by all means. It's slightly better than what we had before, but not by much. The gameplay of Sonic Forces suffers a lot from being too simplistic, and on top of that, some of the characters just don't feel good to control. Like the rookie, his jump feels really floaty and weird, and it's definitely caused me to mess up a few of my jumps, especially in one of the final stages. And Classic Sonic absolutely feels off compared to his previous appearances, but his stages are few and far between. Classic Sonic, just overall, just quick and done, just spin dash through the stage, you'll be fine. While Classic Sonic isn't great, it's fine. It's not terrible. They have the drop dash from Mania, but the momentum is completely removed and it feels really weird. Modern Sonic obviously feels the best out of all of these, and the boost in this game feels pretty good. Actually, the air boost shenanigans you can do in this game, like the speedruns of this game using air boost techniques, are really cool. You can do a lot of stuff. In stages like Mortar Canyon, you can just boost across the entire stage. And honestly, the air boost is pretty fun. I had a lot of fun messing around with it, boosting Sonic out of existence. So, Sonic feels okay. The homing attack is probably a highlight. I like how the homing attack feels. But all in all, he feels weird. He feels heavy. When running, turns are hard to pull off, and it's just not great overall. But Sonic is fine. And the avatar, it has a lot of gimmicks with the Wispons, which are honestly handled quite well. The Wispons are mostly fun to use, but they do lock some of Sonic's core traits, like the Lightspeed Dash, and a lot of those behind, well, the Wispon wall. But the stages where the Rookie and Sonic team up are actually some of the better ones, because it feels good to control them, because you have the combat of the Rookie and the speed of Sonic using the boost. So, controls aren't great, and the level level design is definitely really simplistic, and not as good as anything we've seen before in Boost games, but to be admitted, Sonic Forces, I did have some fun with it. There were some good levels in here, nothing amazing, but some of the levels were kind of fun, but there were quite a few of them that were just slow, 2D, and very short. So yeah, the level design, not great at all, but some of the stages like Egg Gate, Luminous Forest, they definitely had some things going for them. But closer to the end of the game, all the stages started to feel kind of boring-ish, and during the start as well. This doesn't help that the game only has a few locations to deal with. Only 2 of them were sort of brought back, and Green Hill as well as Chemical Plant don't feel anything like their original appearances, so that's a plus, but they could have used the time to design something more original. The Metropolitan City and the other city, those look really nice. They feel distinct from each other, and they look really good. Now, Null Space was something that originally had me excited when I was first playing the game, but it turned out to be kind of boring. They didn't really do anything with Null Space. You just double boost out of it, and that's it. Oh, and the double boost sections are really funny, because if you mess up your double boost, they just slowly, wiggle around on the floor and just, wait, and then they just start boosting. And that's the thing, this game sort of doesn't really punish you for messing up, unless it's on one of the platforming sections. If you're just, running around and you hit a wall, there's often a spring under there, a hidden spring that just boosts you up. Why do that? Just don't have us jump for it, give us some challenge. Yeah, Sonic Forces definitely eases you into the level design with a lot of automation and just springs where you need them to. You can just beat a lot of these stages by just boosting. Well, not really just boosting and jumping, but still. That's not great, and it's really simplistic overall. The graphics and the music of Sonic Forces are obviously pretty good. It's a Sonic game after all. There's usually not many hiccups with graphics or music. I like the soundtrack in Sonic Forces. It does overuse the synth in a few areas, but a lot of the songs like Fading World, Justice, Park Avenue, Spaceport, they're all really, really good. I really like the Forces OST, but I can see why a lot of people don't. It's definitely not as good as some of the other OSTs in the series, but it can definitely hold its own against a lot of them. The graphics are pretty decent. It looks great in a lot of areas, especially the water textures, and on Red Gate Bridge you can see a lot of water there. And the fire, everything looks pretty good. And Sonic Forces is pretty well optimized. It runs flawlessly. And I didn't run into any major glitches while playing unless you count mere boosting out of existence. So yeah, overall, that was my experience with Sonic Forces. And what did I think? Well, Sonic Forces is not a bad Sonic game. I think it was blown out of proportion of how bad it was because Mania was so good and it was just hyped up a lot. Sonic Forces is definitely not a great Sonic game, maybe not even good, but for what it is, it's okay. It's not terrible. I can enjoy myself while playing Sonic Forces, but Sonic Forces was definitely not the Sonic game we needed at the time. It was sort of just you could feel it was rushed, and its development history indicates that they worked a lot on the lighting engine and the graphical engine, so they didn't actually have a lot of time to develop this game, which feels, yeah, that feels accurate. And even just the fact that they cranked this out in 1 year, that's kind of impressive. Sonic 06 had the same development time, and we saw how that went. So, here's to hoping that Sonic Frontiers really delivers on all the fronts. It's already showing us a bit more than Forces a year from release, so there's still hope. This could end up good. So, Sonic Forces, it was alright. I could have fun with it, but there's definitely a lot of areas where it falls short of previous games. So, overall, I'd give it a 6.7 out of 10. Maybe 7 out of 10. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for me. Gavron signing off.